Good morning, good morning, good morning, and happy Monday. It's Monday, and I tell you, I didn't tell the guests before the show, but I always tell you there are two shows you do not want to be on. That's my Monday show and my Friday show. Mondays, I've had way too much sleep, caused way too much trouble, and Friday, I'm tired and I'm exhausted. So, hey, I'm pretty balanced Tuesday through Thursday, but it's Monday. Happy Monday to you. Let's figure out what we're going to talk about today. But before I go ahead and introduce today's guest, I'm going to ask you to do what I always ask you to do. And that is to go out and be an evangelist for the Roundtable Talk Show. There's someone in your network, there's someone in your feed, I don't know, someone in your house. Maybe they're starting on their entrepreneurial journey. They want to start their business. They don't know how, they don't know where to go. That's why we have to sit down with the experts who know. So while you're sharing the show with our guests, I'm with your friends, I'm going to go ahead and introduce our very first guest, Miss Mary D. She's known as the Joy Catalyst. Mary D is an international speaker, best-selling author, and trusted business advisor at the MADLOVE Agency. Her signature program, Madloveology, is designed to help you transform your pain into passion so that you can fall in love with your life again. Good morning, Mary D. How are you?
Good morning, Sharifa. Thank you for having me on this morning. It's great to be here.
You are so welcome. Tell us about yourself. Who are you? What do you do? And what are you passionate about?
Thank you. Well, I am known as the Joy Catalyst because I like to sprinkle happy dust on everyone I meet. I'm an international keynote speaker for audiences that want to be inspired. As you said, a mentor in business, and I specialize in leadership and operations efficiency. My passion is helping others change and transform their pain into purpose. And we can do that in business by having amazing teams and great systems. We do that in life by having personal transformations and really living out our dreams and being able to manifest those things in our life. I am the creator of Madloveology retreats. It's one of my favorite things that I do. Those are designed to spark and deepen connection and confidence, most importantly, to help people transform their pain into purpose. And I'm a breast cancer survivor. I decided to heal holistically after a double mastectomy, and that journey has come full circle because now I sit as the chair of the board for the Breasties, which is a community of young women affected by breast and reproductive cancers. And we bring them support, resources, and a lot of love through connection. My newest book will launch next year. It's called Just Eat the Cake, a recipe for living your best life. And I'm excited about launching that out into the world. If anyone wants to know more about me, they can find me at maryd.com and here, of course, on social media, the Mary D.
I love it. Just eat the cake. Eat the cake, anime. I love it. What made you decide to go with that name?
Just Eat the Cake has so much significance for me. One of them being watching my grandmother, she'd come out of a heart surgery she wasn't supposed to survive, and she was living out her last days. And I just remember my uncle was trying to feed her like vitamins, like all of a sudden he wanted to, send her juices and make her drink and eat all those things. And I remember looking at that situation and I was like, if this were me, I would be like, give me the cake, give me all the cake, and that's what I want to eat. And I just said to him, I was like, sometimes it's okay to just eat the cake. And I feel like she's lived a great life. Just let her eat the cake. We don't need to bog her down with vitamins and smoothies at this point in her life. Like she's had a great, amazing run. And like, let's just do the things. And so this has been a big part of it, right? Because there's so many times in life where we can get caught up on the little things, or we find a fence, we're hangry, name all of the situations. And sometimes it's nice to stop and go, you know what, I'm gonna just eat the cake right now and keep on moving.
Yes, and I love that whole hangry thing because that's me. That's when people know they're like, Strictly, you need to eat. You need a muffin or something. Because I'm like going off. I'm like, oh, okay, I need to eat something. That's definitely me. And I love the story, the example that you gave. I think it's beautiful and wonderful. But too often, I feel that we wait until that period of our life, until we're in our last days to decide that we want to eat the cake. You know, I've always said that I want to be like those little old people, like they're sitting there, whatever their little bias or whatever their little vice is, you know, they're drinking their drink, whatever it is they're doing, that's what they enjoy doing, you know. But do you feel that so many people wait until they get to that point to decide that they just want to eat the cake?
I do. I do. And it's one of those things where I'm hoping that this message is one that helps people sit and go, "Oh my gosh, like there's so much opportunity for me in the world. There's so many things that I could be doing. I could be living, I can be living my best life if I choose to. And how about I choose to do that sooner than later?" My mom, when I traveled the world, and I've been doing that since my early 20s, and my mom used to laugh. She goes, she said, people, they wait until they're old and retired to start traveling and start like really living and seeing the world. She's like, I think you're doing it right by doing it when you're young and doing it now when you can move around freely and see all the things. And then she said, because also when you're older, you have to pee a lot. And so it's better to travel when you're younger because you don't have to stop as much. And I was like, oh, there's so much truth in that as well. And this life, we get one, as far as we know anyway, we get one good shot at it. And so why not live it to the fullest and live it to the best, even though it throws a little lemons at us. And that's part of the journey. It's having this beautiful ebb and flow of the ups and downs of enjoying and feeling everything, feeling all the feelings and not putting labels on tough days. We have tough days, so we can really appreciate the beautiful days or even the normal days. And the beauty is that we get to start again every new day.
I think that's wonderful. And you know who has that struggle all the time? Entrepreneurs. So we are going to introduce our next guest, Mr. Shawn Khorrami. Shawn is a serial entrepreneur, having started and managed more than a dozen businesses involving products and services across a wide range of verticals. In the process, he has managed thousands of employees, servicing tens of thousands of customers, large and small, from consumers to SMBs and even government entities. Good morning, Shawn. How are you? Shawn, are you with us?
I was going to start by apologizing if there's some delay or something. You'll see me turn off my video just in case there's something not working. But I apologize for that.
No apology needed, necessary. You're here. We got you in front of the people. Tell the people your wisdom, Shawn. Who are you? What do you do? And what are you passionate about?
Well, as you alluded to it, I'm what's known as a serial entrepreneur. I have started and managed more than a dozen businesses, starting them from 0 employees and growing them to several hundred small and medium-sized businesses. And I started when I was in high school, and actually, I can go back if we have time to
We gonna have Shawn come in and out. I see Shawn is gonna come in and out because we're having technical difficulties. So Shawn, I am gonna come back to you. Have to keep the show going. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Am I getting cut off?
Shawn, I hear you. You're with me. It's wonderful. Talk to me, Shawn.
So I started when I was I started my first business when I was in high school. I did go to college. I got degrees in mathematics, computer programming, and economics. I also have formal training in marketing, sales, and accounting. And unlike most people that I meet, I've never actually worked for anyone. I've never received a W-2 from any company that I haven't owned. So I've had kind of a different journey, a different experience. And along the way, I've grown those businesses. I've had huge successes where I've grown them to 8 and 9 figure businesses. And I've also, at the same time, had, it's like Mary was talking, had catastrophic failure. So the ebb and flow has been really huge for me. And I think as part of that, family started coming to me just because of the breadth of different sectors that I've had businesses in, and the breadth of experience that I've had. And then friends of family came, and then friends of friends, asking me whether they had an idea about something, or they had a business that they were already managing and they had some crisis come up, or they had huge success and they didn't have the infrastructure to handle it. And that can be, as you know, its own problem. So I at some point I decided, okay, I'm going to set up a
So Shawn set up a program to be able to help these people. So this is Happy Monday. This is what happens on Monday.
consulting.
That's right, Shawn.
My next startup.
That's right. You know how many startups I've worked on? Probably at least, I'm a .com baby. I've worked on probably at least 20 or 30 different startups. So I can definitely relate the ebb and flow, been laid off 8 times, but I have received a W-2. I just love me a W-2. W-2s to me are like easy. I never wanted to be an entrepreneur. I got laid off 8 times. Every time I got comfortable, every time I thought I had arrived at the promised land, I got laid off. I used to think my debit card was magic. I didn't even wonder if I could afford it. I just swiped it. Now, so I love that W-2. There will be no W-2 bashing today. No, I'm just kidding, Shawn. I know you wasn't bashing.
I was not at all bashing it. It's just something I haven't done.
I want to be a W-2. Will you hire me, Shawn? Can I come work for you?
Well, you'll be my next team member.
It only works if you're your own W-2, Sharifa. If you're only cutting your own checks.
True. See, that's how we want to do it. That's how you inspire the people. Cut your own checks. And you know how we learned that? We were watching Just Eat the Cake podcast. Talk to him. I'm gonna come back to you, Shawn. I want to go ahead and introduce my next guest, this lovely young lady. You have seen her before. If you haven't seen her, you've also heard her name, because I talk about her all the time. This lady gets me everywhere. My publicists, magazines, interviews, red carpet appearances. It's not me doing the work. It is Miss Chandra Gore. Chandra has used her successful and profitable businesses through her consulting firm, and has worked with entrepreneurs to help them create foundations for success through her boutique consulting and public relations firm, Chandra Gore Consulting. Quietly making strides with placements for small businesses, entertainment, authors, therapists, and motivational speaking clients on local and national news outlets. She has been leaving her mark as a publicist in the industry. Good morning, Chandra. How are you?
Good morning. I'm happy to be here this morning.
I am happy to have you. You're already just moving and shaking. What are we going to talk about today?
Everything. I'm just excited because this month has been a great month, and then this is my monthly appearance, so I'm always happy because we're going to talk about what you've been talking about.
Oh, we're going to talk about it. That's why I was like, I can't wait. And then you know how sometimes things just move. You be like, look at God. Chandra's on the show today. Now, this is the thing. This is the question I've been dying to ask you. As a publicist, as my publicist, do you ever read what they're saying and you're like, okay, I got to fix this?
Yes. Yes, but the thing is, I always tell people to always be authentic. So even if I have to fix something, I'm happy that they're being themselves. You're being yourself. There's really nothing I can say or nothing I can get mad at. But I can't, say, oh, that's not them, because it's you being you. I just have to spin it so that people understand that it's you and who you are. And I really do think some people manufacture a personality or manufacture, these alternate realities for people. And I really wish we would get away from that, because I do feel like being authentic is what keeps people coming back and looking for you. Mm-hmm. So yeah, even if I have to clean it up, you said what you said, now let's talk about why she said what she said, or why he said what he said, because within that is a story. Within that is what makes you who you are and why people should pay attention to you.
Now, it was something that you said. I want to go back to what you said about how do you and I don't, can't give all the secrets to the trade, but how do you clean it up when, like you said, it's their opinion? Do they change their opinion? Do you get them to look at it a different way?
Well, I do get them to look at how anybody else will perceive it, but then I also get them to expound and explain why they came to that opinion, or so that basically if anybody we had to issue a statement, we would have all of that there. They said this and these are the reasons why. Sorry that it may have offended you, but this is an opinion solely based on these things. So you have to own it. And then with some people backtrack and do the fake apology, it's really no, just own it and keep it moving.
No, you mentioned being authentic, and this we're gonna go in a whole different direction. So I'm just so glad you're here. Thank you. You're my therapist. This is my therapist, y'all. She not only my publicist, she's my therapist. So I need a little therapy this morning, because this is my question though. Because I had a friend one time, and I'll never forget this. He called me and he told me, and I had said something, and he said, Sharifa, when I call you, I never know which one of your personalities I'm gonna get. That's what he told me. And you know what I told him? I said, it depends on the personality that you bring out. That was my response. And that's how I feel about life, so I say certain things, but that's because that's the personality or the mode or the feeling that's being brought out at that moment. Does that make sense?
It makes sense. I just did this master class with this amazing woman. I'm sorry, I gotta look and see if I have the book on my bookshelf. Her name is Bridget. And it's basically the selves that you have within yourself. So we have multiple selves within us that talk to us, that, different voices that we have. So that person was speaking to a self that needed to be spoken to, and so to protect you, sometimes we go into those things that we need to get our point across. And it wasn't that he brought out a side of you that needed to come out, because that's how you needed to deal with him. Because sometimes we do have to tailor ourselves so that we are protected and we can say what we need to say and it be understood. So obviously he must have, I don't know if you liked him or not, but that side of you went into that, like, this is what because you're an energy person as well. So if you are giving off something, it's because somebody is giving you something. So it's not that you're matching energy. You are not shrinking down or anything like that. You're matching what you're being given. So yeah, never mind.
Mary D, I'd love to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, Chandra, are you channeling a little bit of human design when you're talking about Sharifa and her ability to absorb energy around her?
Yes.
Yes.
I don't know what that is. So many people in the audience,
Sharifa, that's a whole nother show. That's a whole nother show, but it's good. It's good. Yeah. So human design so you pop in like your birth date and your birth time, your name, and it's a wonderful chart that actually talks to you about how you are designed. Like, what is your actual human design? Like, are you meant to be someone that speaks to the masses, or someone who does better in small groups, someone who's better one-on-one? Are you someone who is able to manifest your ideas quickly, but you need other people to actually do the work of implementation? Or are you that person who figures out what the work needs to look like and puts the right people into place? It's a really fascinating study on you, and everyone's human design is a little bit different. So that's the most general kind of first frame I can give you on that. But a lot of times it does have to do with also that transfer of energy. And I'm similar as well in terms of what does a room show up with. And then I can do a lot with the energy in a room, which is why for me, I want to bring a vibe up in a room. I want to be in a high vibing room because that feels good. But afterwards, I'm probably really tired and I need to go outside and stick my feet in the grass and ground for a while to also let go of some energy. So now I can rest and recover. And so I'm someone that also needs some rest and recovery time. So I would be fascinated to know what your human design is. There's so many amazing things to dive into there. And it definitely is a signifier of how we actually receive what shows up in front of us. And I'm with you, Chandra. I'm a firm believer that whatever comes up that feels we're resisting, like that's a great opportunity to lean into it and figure out why. Because sometimes we do bring childhood traumas and we bring some of that old energy and junk from the past, and other people can trigger that and bring it up. As a breast cancer survivor, if there's one thing I can say, it's that healing is not linear. It is not. It's not one of those things where suddenly you wake up the next day and you go, okay, all better. Let's move on now. I mean, there's this whole battle in the mind that continues. And so it's like, wow, how do I really rein those thoughts in? And how do I sit with some of these feelings, and why are they coming up? Where do they come from? And sometimes we know the answer, sometimes we don't. But the biggest part of it is being able to recognize it and go, okay, what does this mean for me? And how can I learn from this so that I can react better the next time, or that I can learn a lesson that I need to learn, or that I can teach
Yes.
someone a lesson that they need to learn, right? Because people are like, oh, well, you're so nice. It's like, I've had my moments where I've said, this is an opportunity for me not to sit back and be like, oh, I'm just going to meet them where they're at. It's like, no, this is a learning opportunity, and I'm going to make a correction right now, because this
Oh,
is what
yes, I've been having learning opportunities all weekend. I mean, they gonna learn today. That's where I've been at all weekend. And I agree, even with human design, I think there's a lot of different ways to measure. Like my family's really big in astrology, so they know I'm an Aries. You know, they want to look at our archetype. You know, they tell me mine is the Empress. So it's a lot of different ways to measure. I love to learn and, you know, about what's going on with me. So a lot of times when I'm in that personality, I'm like, oh, okay, why is Reef showing up? Because Reef is the personality that I think she was there all weekend. Shawn, as an entrepreneur, you have to have different ways of dealing with people and dealing with situations as well, correct?
Yeah, I mean, when you guys were all talking about this, what kept coming to my mind is in a situation where you enter a room, and right before you enter that room, what you do is you're trying to think, okay, what am I trying to accomplish? Number one, who's there? What kind of people are there? What kind of mood is there? And you kind of responded, and it was something that you brought up when Sharifa, when you first started this conversation, was the personality that you bring out in me. You were talking about your friend. It's the same thing. Is what kind of personality am I going to have to bring out, and who am I responding to? How do I best respond to them? And not have something that ends up being a lot of times negative. A lot of us, you may enter a room, you may have baggage from way back when, like Mary was talking about, you may have baggage from 2 seconds ago. And at that point, you have to sort of look at that room and say, okay, you know what? Nobody was dealing with all of my baggage from years ago or the baggage from 2 seconds ago. I have to make sure that what I don't come off as is something negative and terrible, where someone can, where people are trying to actually interact with me in a positive way. So that's something that just came to my mind, that comes up all the time in my life. So I really identified with what you were saying.
I think it's beautiful.
Yeah, and I want to make a quick comment on that, because one of the things that I heard you say, Shawn, is in talking about how sometimes we bring our own baggage. But on the flip side of that, what I also want to say is sometimes it's not us at all. Sometimes we are
Preach, Mary.
designed to teach. Yeah, sometimes we are showing up for that person also to teach, and for us to also exercise our compassion muscle, right? So sometimes that's also the situation where, I'll give you guys a great example. I'm Asian American. And so there are some generations, especially ones that have gone to war, off to Vietnam, who could take one look at me and feel very triggered just by the way I look, right? Because they have a history, and it's a history that is painful for them, that they had to work through. So there's no baggage that I necessarily bring to that conversation, right? It's their perception, and it's actually their baggage. And so they're showing up, and I'm triggering for them, but this is a great opportunity, I feel like, for me to go, oh, let me be a light, and let me be kind to you, and let me show you that just because I look like I do, and people in your past who have looked like me may have hurt you, that I'm not here to do that. I'm here to help you, or I'm here to be neutral, or I'm here to help change your perception of that piece that's been so ingrained in you out of a fear that happened a long time ago. And those are also beautiful moments that I feel like it's so true. We're all like big pieces of a puzzle. We're here to connect with each other and learn from each other if we'll just open our eyes and be open to what those things are and be comfortable having a few bumps along the way and knowing that we're not always going to show up perfectly in those situations, but sometimes those learning situations show up for us as well.
I definitely agree. I definitely agree, but I'm a little different. I want to go back to what you said about having the energy and then needing to rest. That's exactly how I am, because I tell people I'm an introverted extrovert, right? I'm a very reclusive person, but when you watch my shows or my interviews, I bring that personality so up that everyone thinks I'm an extrovert. But that's because after the shows, I have to rest and I have, come down from that energy. Now, I completely agree with what you're saying. It's not only your perception, it's their perception based on their baggage. And that's why I responded the way I did as far as the personalities, because the way I look at it is this. It reminds me of the example one time a manager told me. She said, Sharifa, you intimidate people. And my response to her was, I don't intimidate people. People are intimidated by me. That's something on their part. It's not something that I'm doing to them, because believe me, I do know, I'm not naive. I do know that I have the ability to intimidate someone, but I also know that that's not my natural state. That's not, what I do every day. Just usually, like yesterday, that was, like I'm using that personality to be, that way. So if someone perceives me at that I don't necessarily use it as an opportunity to show them how nice I am or how different I am. I'm just me. And however they respond, I respond based on their response. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Love that.
Chandra, love to hear your thoughts.
That is true. I mean, that's for me, like I do voter registration right now, right? And when I come home, I'm exhausted because I'm an introvert, and a lot of you, no one believes that I'm an introvert, but I am. And so when you have all these, like Sharifa, you do this daily. You have all these energies coming at you daily. That's why you're exhausted, because it's a lot. Because you feel somebody could come on the show, and I've seen it where somebody has not felt good or they have been in a bad mood. You feel it because I felt it. So it's like, but I can watch the show and I can see exactly, when someone's energy is off and it throws you off. And so that's why you're tired. And I understand, like, whoever it was that got whatever they got this weekend, I'm so sorry, but you have to be mindful of what you're projecting to others. Like I always, like, my slogan is conversations begin with a smile, because if you smile before you begin to talk to someone, it changes it just changes the whole situation, and then it resets everything, and then it's better. So I understand why you're so tired afterwards. You do this a lot. You interact with a lot of people. More power to you, and bless your heart.
Thank you.
I'm
Thank
exhausted.
you.
Like, I'm exhausted at the farmer's market because there's so many people walking past me. I'm exhausted when I come home, and it's like, why? It's because of people. People don't understand. Energy is transferred. You feel it, So whoever got it this weekend, maybe they need to reevaluate why and how they came to you. I don't know if it was aggressive or whatever they were doing before they talked to you or stuff like that, but you give off what people give to you. It's like a mirror. So,
Yes,
but you're Aries, though. That's already a warrior, right? Never mind. Go
I
ahead.
know. I know. Mary D, you were going to say something.
I'm married to an Aries, so I'm sending you all kinds of just love and goodness and calmness and peace.
Warriors need peace, but you know what I mean? We also need war. And it's funny because my grandmother, God rest her soul, she was an Aries. My son's an Aries. So I tell people, if I know anything, I know Aries, but we good people. We good people.
You are. You get shit done, or you get stuff done.
That's what I said. Because I went through, see, y'all bringing up memories.
Okay, Mary, that is cuss therapy. You have to own it. Don't correct yourself. If you need to cuss, just let it go.
Sorry, not sorry. Sorry, not sorry.
But the thing about it is, I had this whole discussion when I was running for city council, and I was speaking, And some of the response that I got to what I said, some people said, and the interesting thing, since we being real on all these shows, it was a black woman who said that I came across as racist and I came across as angry. And I was so taken aback by that statement. It just so happened that my next step on my campaign trail was to do my campaign commercial. And so I literally go to do this commercial and I said, hi, my name's Sharifa Hardy. I'm running for Long Beach City Council, District 6. I'm an author, I'm a talk show host, I'm a business consultant, and some people consider me an angry Black woman. And the room was silent, you know, but I was like, but you know what? I think more people should be angry about homelessness. I think more people should be angry about the lack of, and I'm talking in this nice, sweet, calm voice, but I'm still telling you I'm angry. And so now around Long Beach, when people ask about me, they'll be like, well, she's kind of aggressive. And I'm like, okay, good. Somebody warned you. Somebody warned you about me.
No better.
Yes. Yes.
But isn't that who the people want fighting for them? I'm just saying, like that, when I think of, again, I'm surrounded by Aries in my life as well, but you guys really get a lot done. At least that's the Aries in my life. And
that's
I
what
just
I said
like,
in that video. I said, I get stuff done. That's what reminded me at the end. I said, but I get stuff done.
Yeah.
I just talked all over you, Mary D. How rude of me.
Yeah, okay. I love it. You're on your soapbox and I liked it.
I love it. I just try not to get on the soapbox because I could kill an hour by myself. And then Shawn, poor little Shawn, wouldn't even get a word in edgewise.
Well, I'm enjoying you talking, but don't worry, I can get my way in as well. I'm really actually enjoying you guys talking, and so, you know, I wouldn't be shy about interrupting if I didn't enjoy the conversation.
Okay, I just have to interrupt real quick. Can anybody else hear that sound with me? Did y'all hear that phone ringing?
Oh yeah.
No?
I heard something.
I heard a little bit.
It's not me.
Facebook,
Right. So that my whole point. This is what I've been going off on all weekend, is how people send you a friend request and you don't even know these people and they just call you, like, and it's like, come on, what happened to respect? That's what I've been going. Have some respect. Say hello. Say how you doing. This is who I am. People just they don't have any. They just do what they want to do. So I've been boop boop. No, we gonna stop all of that. So I closed out Facebook so the phone would stop ringing, but I just had to it just showed up, an opportunity for me to discuss what I've been going off. You don't know me that well. When you get on, when people send me on LinkedIn, am I the only one who has this thing? This is what I talk about in business. That's why I'm so passionate about business. Business is done a certain way. When I accept someone's friend request on LinkedIn, the first thing they want to do is send me a message. Hi, Sharifa, I sell leads. Here's my calendar link. Schedule a time to talk. I don't even know you.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of a hard sell is a really, it's really, I don't even think it's very effective as a sales tactic. I think it's very, and the funny thing is, it's so easy to actually, the way that social media is and the way the technology is, to actually get a little bit in with a person and talk to them a little bit. And it wouldn't take much of your time. So that immediate, hard sell, I got this, I got that, come buy from me, or click here and do whatever, is very off-putting to people. So I completely agree with you.
They're missing the whole point of, we do business with people we know, like, and trust.
Yes.
If you're brand new to my feed, first of all, I don't know you. I haven't decided if I like you or not. And I certainly don't trust you quite yet because I don't know you. And there's just some real business basics that people forget to go back to. And I'm with you on that, Sharifa. I don't know who's teaching that or where that's coming from, but it is an awkward, like, whoa, stop now. This is too much. Do people actually respond to this?
I'm so tired and frustrated. Like, it's exhausting, because that's why I don't accept friend requests. And, you know, I have to deal with my better half saying, well, you have all these people. First of all, I don't know these people. Okay. I don't talk to these people. I only engage with colleagues and things like that. I don't use social media to talk to people who I know for real, you know? And so this is what I say. Well, when the minute I hit accept a friend request and you inbox me, oh, I'm a seller for whatever MLM or whatever new company, whatever, block and delete. Like, you don't, cultivate a relationship first. I don't know who's teaching these sell tactics and things like that, but they need to go back to basics on how to interact with people. You know, that's not how to do it. Spamming people's inboxes or having these bots send these requests and stuff like that. I'm not knocking. If it works, it works, but it's not going to work for me because one, I'm going to think you're a scammer, and two, they don't even say hello first.
Well, you know, isn't it? I mean, if you're going into someone's inbox, it's kind of like going into their living room, right? You know,
Yes.
they've at some level, maybe they've given you permission, maybe they haven't, but you're walking into their living room. That's kind of their private space. And there has to be a certain amount of respect that goes with that. When you're walking, just like you're walking into their home, just like you walk through.
That's right.
I feel like Shawn is always on a nugget, and then
Right.
suddenly we can't hear him. Oh, fill in the blank.
That's what happens when it gets good. You know what I mean? It's like you're on that point, and it's like,
I know,
It's
internet
mute.
squirrels, come on.
yes, we were rooting there for Shawn, and I agree. I mean, because this is literally what I have been going off on about all weekend, and it's not about just going off. It's about when you fill up my inbox like that, or anyone's inbox like that. I don't have the opportunity to talk to the people that I want to have a conversation with, the people who want to be the guests on the show, the people who are reaching out to me with actual business questions, because you're filling it up with such nonsense. And what's so interesting, because I heard Mary D say, and I also heard Chandra say, basics. And it's so interesting because my first show, TV show that I wanted to produce, like back in 2007, was called Business Basics, because that was my whole thing. And even when I do speaking engagements, I tell people the key is figuring out, are you operating a business or are you operating a hustle? Now, there's no judgment in either one, but if you're in business, there are basics to doing business. And so I might actually, I feel another show coming on. That's what I've been wrestling on this week, because maybe nobody told them, Mary D. Maybe nobody said to them, this is how the basics.
I'm here for it. Let's do it.
Yeah, no, I
Chandra.
thought of that too. I was thinking, gosh, you know, like what's been one of the most magical things that I've been able to do in my life? It's been an auntie. I'm the cool auntie. I've never birthed my own children, but I've certainly have changed lots of diapers and taken kids on trips and paid for some college. So when I think of that, I'm like, oh, like what are the things that I want all of them to know that my parents didn't talk to me about, right? Like I'm sure you guys have that in your family too. At least in mine, like we didn't talk about sex. That was just, you just weren't supposed to have it. There was no other conversation around it. But I was like, it's a healthy conversation to actually talk to our children about the process of life and all of the things that can come along with it. And I was like, how about sharing those things that I wish I knew when I was my 20-year-old self? Right? You're right. Maybe no one taught them, Sharifa. And I think that is exactly right. So sometimes when I watch a person, I just go, I don't think their mom taught them
Right.
manners,
Right.
a thing, or they just chose not to listen. You know, one of the two, but somebody needs to come in and be the teacher. So
They don't want me to be the teacher because I'm not a nice, I'm not nice. I'm nothing nice. I'm trying to tell y'all what I know. Chandra, you're about to say something.
Because she said maybe the mom, listen, you put it so eloquently. Because I'm like, so you have no home training? Is that what this is? Like, so no one taught you that that's not what you're supposed to do. And I think that those who have been threatened by aunties, uncles, grandparents, or parents in their life operate a little bit different, because in my head, before I say or do something, I still hear my dad saying, do it and I'm gonna show you what's gonna happen. I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm 30 something years old. And I'm still, my dad is passed away and gone, but I still think about what he would say to me or do to me if I do certain things. So yes, if a lot of people use those things or had that training before you approach someone, like speak to people before you go into a request. Ask someone how they're doing before you ask for something. You know, do those things that, you know, that should be taught. It should be innate, not saying, give me money, give me money, give me money. You know, that's pretty much what you do when you're hitting up people's inbox. Give me money, give me money, give me money. Like, no, ask that person, hello, I would like to introduce myself. Like, that's something that was taught in high school for me. You know, it's, you know, how to approach people, introduce yourself, do, if you're in person, a handshake. Then you go into talking about what you would like to do or what you want that person to do for you. I just, you're no one, they don't have lack of home training. You're
Yeah,
absolutely
but with that said, I've been in those instances where someone does something that's just so clearly like, okay, I just don't believe this. And then I respond, you know, one of those personalities come out and then they're like, Sharifa, you could have just said. I'm like, well, they mama should have taught them that. It's not my responsibility to raise these people. Like there's a right and a wrong way to do things. And I just love explaining to people because maybe they didn't know, but they learned this weekend. They gonna learn today.
That's right. Because you ain't got time, Sharifa.
I try to tell them that I don't have time. You know what I mean? Because I'm, you know, and I said that, and I said that on the post this morning that I said, I don't have time, don't waste my time. And it's not that I think that my time is more or less valuable than anyone else's, but I am on a mission. Y'all watch the Blues Brothers. I'm on a mission from God. I'm trying to tell you, I have a goal. I have a destination. I am going to help these businesses come hell, high water. I'm going to help these business owners and these entrepreneurs become successful. There are so many businesses that are struggling right now. They are trying to figure out if they're going to close their doors, how to grow their businesses, how to get media attention, all these different things. They had W-2s all their life, Shawn. They don't know what it means to be an entrepreneur. We got to present, you know, but then when you just want to inbox and play and send little naked pictures, that's irritating to me. And then at some point I got a Kwame Brown. You want to irritate me? Okay, well, I'm about to irritate you. It is fun because I do it better.
Well, that's, I mean, part of why I like teaching to small businesses and I like helping the family and friends that call me up is exactly that. A lot of times people just don't know, they don't realize it. For example, this inbox thing, they don't think of it that way. Once you tell them, they go, oh, okay, now I understand, and it makes sense to them. So it's part of the
Nugget.
She
Nugget.
said nugget.
Nugget. And I'm like,
it's petty.
That's the energy, Chandra. You was talking about that earlier. You said it's the energy. It's the energy in the air. Nugget, Shawn. We was with you on the nugget.
we were with you on the nugget, Shawn.
Oh, okay, good.
We missed the nugget. You got to give it.
You froze right when you were given the nugget.
But
Oh, yeah. I mean, you know, I just enjoy teaching small businesses because a lot of times they just don't realize it. And once you show them, then they go, oh, that makes sense. And it helps them actually increase their sales.
Yeah, we helping you today, Shawn. Shawn's like, now he learns how to do those sound bites with the nuggets, like quick little sound bites. Help the businesses, social media.
You know what's so funny? What's so funny about it is I've actually tried to tell someone like, hey, I don't think you should approach it that way. Don't tell me how to run my business. Now, first of all, I'm just trying to help you. I'm not trying to tell you what, you know, to change everything about you, but there are certain things, like, I'm not trying to tell you how to run your business. I'm trying to tell you, give you some tools that can help you to be better at your business. And I think a lot of people, that it's the constructive criticism that a lot of people don't understand, or how they don't know how to receive that. And I think that, you know, if we get to the point where we could have that dialogue, or it can be given in a way that can be digested easily, I think we would get better. We would have better relationships with people selling things online and things like that, you know?
But I also, this is the thing. I agree with you, Chandra. I'm not disagreeing with you, but I think every problem comes down to the mindset. It comes down to the way that you view it. And I think because we have this idea in our minds that people on social media are not people. They're just leads. They're just businesses. And so just like Shawn was saying, offline, we would not do that. You would, if I was sitting at a table eating my lunch, and that's why I love being me. And when I go off, because all my stories start off with, I was minding my own business. Right? So if I'm sitting there at a table eating my lunch, minding my own business, and someone just walks up to me and they're like, here's my business card, give me a call. But people do it all the time in an inbox. You know, it's like, give me a call. I sell this. And I'm like, but that's not how you do things. Again, what Mary D was saying, I know I like, and I trust. But what people forget is that now you've done more harm. You've now been added to the list of people I don't like, because I don't want to do business with you now. I know that I don't want to do business. And trust me, I hardly ever change my mind. That's how I look at it. I might be wrong, but that's where I am, Mary D.
No, you are so right, Sharifa, because what happens too is I'm wondering what are the quality of the contacts that they're filling up their calendar with? Are they filling up their calendar with someone who's just like them, who's like, sure, I'll hop on a call. Let me see if I can reverse sell you, right? Like there's all this noise. And to your point, Chandra, the small business owner, I think one of the problems today is, digital marketing is not what it used to be. I mean, I've been in the space since before it was actually called digital marketing. And I remember being in a business where we still did things a little belly to belly because that was how business was done. I still believe business is done that way. You just have this whole other aspect of things where you can come to the internet and suddenly there's a whole community there, right? We don't actually have to step out our door if we don't want to. But with that comes a lot of noise. Everyone's a guru, everyone's an expert, everyone's got a thing. And so how do we also, as entrepreneurs, also small businesses that are working off of a budget, look at those things and go, okay, well, which program? And am I going to be disappointed when I go into this program? And I think that this is the piece that I really want to share with people, which is go get a mentor, go get that person that has what you have, or they live like you want to live, or their business is like you want your business to be, and ask them and have them. Those should be the people that you hire to come help you do your thing. And if you're going to pick strangers from the internet, that's fine. There are definitely lots of great strangers from the internet who can help you, but I would do a little bit of question asking, right? How are you specifically going to help me in my business? And what value am I going to receive from this at the end of the day? So those are, important things to know before you throw big money at it. Because I've seen too many times people who see a business opportunity and they go, oh, if I throw money at that, if I throw enough money at it, it surely will pop right back. Well, no, that's like a great, stock market tip. If you happen to buy a penny stock, you can throw money at it and it'll come back. But it doesn't always work that way in business. Sometimes we'll end up wasting a lot of money that way. So really getting a good mentor, getting someone that is a leadership, someone who can be a leadership pillar in your life to help be your guide. And Sharifa, I see you doing that for small business. Shawn, obviously that's the work that you're also doing in the world. Chandra, you also do it in PR, right? You're also helping business owners get their message out and figuring out, hey, where is their market? Same thing. I do it for operations and leadership. Those are my specialties. And so you can just see that, like, how do people come full circle and come and get the goods? There's also free mentorship. People can go to places, there are nonprofits like SCORE. I know there's a lot of the SBA. If you go through the SBA, a lot of times they have like networking and things like that. So for people who are looking and you need the help, like, it's available and it's out there, but you got to raise your hand and say, hey, I need this and this is what I'm looking for. And reaching into a network, being able to be connected to someone like you, Sharifa, who I could say, hey, I need a PR person. Of course, Chandra, and you're going to go, I have a great one. Let me introduce you to her. Like, this is beautiful because I know, like, and trust you. And I'm like, ooh, I like how she vibes. I like that she's out there teaching and doing her thing. And then I go, okay, great. Who's helping her? Oh, it's Chandra. Awesome. And then maybe Chandra's working with Shawn and I go, oh, great. Well, then this is all coming full circle for me. Right. So we build trust within these smaller circles too. And that's the other beautiful part. Now I don't need a stranger coming into my inbox. I can go, oh, let me just go ask Sharifa because she probably can help me locate the person that I need to find that can help me on my next piece of the journey. And that's why the relationship part is what it all comes back to. So people, if you're spamming people, don't do it anymore. Build relationships. And then that's actually how business is done.
I love that. So just so you know, Mary D, the whole little spiel you just gave, that's going to be the next commercial for AskSharifa.com. Ask Sharifa. That's all. That's how you solve this problem. So I just want you to know, I don't know how big it's going to get. So if there are some royalties, don't worry, I got you. But right now we don't have no money coming in for that commercial. So, but it's going to be out there. But the point that's so important about, I loved it. Now I'm being honest, I loved it. But what's so key about that is when you said recommend Chandra, I don't even think we had this discussion on air because we were talking about it backstage. But I have worked with Chandra. I have sat on panels with Chandra. I have been on multiple interview shows with her. I have received the benefits of working with her. She got me into one of the largest magazines I've done, Pretty Women Hustle magazine. Nice full page article on Sharifa Hardy, but that wasn't me. That was Chandra Gore. So it's not like when Mary D or Shawn asked me, oh, do you know a publicist? I'm like, oh, well, let me Google one. Okay, well, here's a publicist. No. I can tell you about somebody that I know. I can tell them about her personality. I can say, look, let me tell you, Mary D, I would highly, highly, highly recommend that you work with Chandra. But let me tell you, Chandra not gonna play with you. She gonna tell you what you need to do. She gonna tell you what it costs, and that's who she is. I'm wrong, Chandra? But that's the kind of recommendation that I would give, because this is someone that I know, not someone that I Googled. And that's what people don't understand, and why I'm so adamant and keep sticking on this same point. If you want to know me, if you want me to help you, if you want to talk, develop a relationship so I can go back and say, oh yeah, I know Shawn. Shawn is what? A serial entrepreneur who has never had a W-2 in his life. You should work with Shawn. Shawn's laughing, but I'm trying to help the people. Shawn, am I wrong? You're on mute, Shawn. We got you here, I think.
You're absolutely correct. There we go. I'm working this thing. No, you're absolutely correct. And that's exactly what we've been saying. And I love the way Mary D put it, that it all circles back around to that relationship. So when you're sending that message to that inbox, you first have to think of developing a relationship, getting to know someone. And there's very easy ways of doing that, and people will respect that and they'll respond to it. But it all comes down to relationships, because that's what happens when we call up and we say, hey, do you know someone? We call up our friends, we call up our colleagues. And the same is true, by the way, with business, right? It's much easier for you to sell to a current customer than to acquire a new customer. And so that relationship, again, because they've trusted you and they've already purchased from you some service, some product, and they'll redo it if you do it right. That relationship is incredibly important. And the more people start respecting that, the more successful they will be, and the happier they'll be, and the happier their customers will be, the happier their colleagues will be.
We got the whole nugget out there. You see that, Mary D? We made it. We made it. I agree, though. That's why I take my name and my brand so serious, because people ask Sharifa, and everything I do is just simply based on referrals from the people I sit down with. So I have to know these people. I can't just be making referrals all willy-nilly. I can't tell people to watch Just Eat the Cake podcast, and Mary D is telling people, you don't need a website and all kind of craziness. No, you know what I mean? It's very, very important to me. This has been an excellent show. I had a lot of fun today. We are coming down to the last few minutes of the show. And what I love to do at the end of every show is just simply allow my guests the opportunity to speak directly to the audience, to everyone who is watching this show live, as well as everyone who is watching it in the archives, and let them know what you want them to take away from your appearance here today. And we're going to start with you, Shawn.
Okay. So I've been having this trouble with my internet connection, so I'm going to be quick. I have a very quick story. When I was 12 years old, there was a librarian that actually ended up staring at me because I picked up a book because I was faking actually reading it, so he wouldn't throw me out of the library. That book ended up changing my life because I accidentally ended up reading that book. I never put it down. And one day I will tell you the full story about that. But that librarian, that stare he gave me, which I thought was evil at the time because I knew he was trying to throw me out of the library, but really what he was trying to get me to do was get me to read. That guy changed my life. He changed my life at the age of 12. And so what I wanted to say to people is that you just don't know who you're going to meet and what their intentions are. And so just take a positive attitude towards it and be appreciative of these people because you just never know. So that's my takeaway that I want to tell.
So we don't even get to hear the name of the book?
The name of the book was Unsafe at Any Speed by Ralph Nader. And the reason that changed my life was, one, Ralph Nader immediately registered with me because he's Middle Eastern and I was too, and I was an immigrant here. And so I said, oh my God, look, this guy did this book. And what happened was, I then researched him because he was Middle Eastern, because I was having such a tough time, even at 12, especially at 12, adjusting. And so when I researched him, this guy, this one man, this one Middle Eastern guy, got the United States Congress to have what really was its jewel, which was GM, send its president, no less, to Washington to apologize to him for what they had done to him. And it just gives you an idea of where we live in and the opportunities that we have. If one guy like that could move the government of this country to do something like that, bring this jewel of American industry over to apologize, then all of us can do anything. And that's what changed my life.
When Shawn speaks, Shawn speaks. We got a beautiful nugget there. Thank you, Shawn. Mary D, what do you have for us?
Yeah, I was thinking about quotes that have really resonated with me over time. And one of them is that we don't know what we don't know. And I don't know who said it, but it's super true. And that's why as we go through this journey called life and business and entrepreneurship, it's really important to have compassion with ourselves, to be patient with ourselves, but also to remember that action trumps experience most of the time, right? You can have someone sitting with lots of experience who's sitting on their couch waiting for a call, or you can have someone who doesn't have as much experience, but they're willing to make some phone calls, build some relationships, and get in there. And that part has never slowed down for me as an entrepreneur over all of these years. And I would say that for anyone out there who is feeling the struggle at all, be compassionate with yourself, create good grounding habits that will help you start and end your day strong. Fill in the gaps by breaking those habits down into bite-sized pieces, because it really is the daily actions that make all the difference. And then my third nugget on that would just be, we only have this one beautiful life that we know of on this earth. And so while we're doing it, we should just eat the cake and not trip up over all of those complicated, noisy things out there in the world. Ask Sharifa, call a friend, call a business associate, get those referrals, give referrals, be the person you want to be. I believe all that does circle back to us and comes full circle. Thanks for letting me share, Sharifa.
Absolutely. It has been a pleasure. Thank you, Mary D. Chandra, what do you think of the show? Was it good? Was it great? Did we do it again?
This was a great show. Like I'm very happy with today's show. Like we got some nuggets, but we also talked about some real things. And I think that this is a great place. Like entrepreneurs need to understand, like there was something that they said about low hanging fruit, about getting your word out there about your business. Your show is a way to connect and to build trust with people. And I think that a lot of times people forget, or business owners forget, your brand. The only reason why your business is successful is because people trust you. They know you. They feel like they know you. So coming on your show is a great way to build that trust with your audience. That's why I'm on it every single month, because quiet as it's kept, I don't really talk out in the front. I'm always behind the scenes doing these things and, being the puppet master pretty much of getting clients out there, getting them visibility. So me being on the show is helping others to build trust in. When I say, well, if you're unsure about working with me, go check out this episode. I have a whole playlist, of appearances that I've had, and to share with people, like, listen, this is what I do. This is my knowledge. This is what I can do. So I feel like this show was a great learning experience for anyone. If you feel like you don't know how to sell, we all gave great tips for anyone who's going into selling. Stop spamming people's inboxes. Get on a show, talk about your business, or connect with someone to learn on how to speak to your audience or your consumers. Because if you don't have a publicist, the best way to do is PR yourself.
But they need a publicist. That's the thing. Like they trying to figure out they think that spamming people's inbox is the same as having a publicist. That's what I'm trying to get them to understand. Like, are you operating a business or are you operating a hustle? And I think people really forget that. And so I love what you said. I appreciate what you said. I received what you said about the show. But you know what's so beautiful to me about this show is that if not one person, and we had quite a few people tuning in today, some comments, a lot of people watching. It's been a great show. LaShawn Charles said, thank you for the info and advice. Great show. So people are tuning in, but I always tell myself, if it's just us, if it's just us 4 people or 5 people, my guest walking away with meeting someone new, Mary D can actually say, I sat with Shawn. I talked to him. I spoke to him. I got some nuggets from Shawn. Chandra could say, I learned about Mary D's podcast, Just Eat the Cake podcast. She has that knowledge now, and that's what's important to me. So the benefit to everybody else is just a blessing that's added on to the connections that we were able to make today. So I want to thank you all for being guests on today's episode of the Roundtable Talk Show. And I especially want to thank everyone who tuned in to watch this show live, as well as everyone who is watching it in the archives. I definitely appreciate your support. But as always, please don't just watch the show. Please don't just share the show. I appreciate that. That's for me. But support the guests. Their website links are in the Facebook post. Visit their websites. Go to their social media. Follow them on social media. They gave up their time, their energy to be here for you today. So please follow them. Reach out to them. Send them a message. And when you do, please let them know Sharifa Hardy says hi. Now, if you're interested in more ways that I can help your business, or maybe you want to be a guest on the Roundtable Talk Show, please visit my website at asksharifa.com. Until tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Pacific, everyone have a safe and a blessed day. Bye now.